Welcome to part 5 of how to play the tenor saxophone. We're going to cover some terms and musical concepts. Really important. Review this video as many times as you need to until you learn these things, and we'll get started. Okay, we're on page 5 in your book, so you can refer back to this page whenever you're not on the video. But the first thing is the staff. Let's see right at the top of the page. The staff is 5 lines and 4 spaces used for writing music. And we use this in all of our music. You'll see a staff, and that's what we put all the different symbols and things on so that we know what to do and what to play. Next, we have this little red box, and it says the treble clef. It's also called the G clef because the second line, see this little loop here? It's kind of circling around this second line. So the second line is always a G. So that's why we call it the G clef. It's also called the treble clef. The time signature, this yellow box, tells us how many beats are in a measure. In this case, the top number, that tells us 4 beats per measure. And then also what kind of note gets the beat. That's the bottom number. So 4/4 or 4/4, quarter note gets the beat. Okay, so it's 4 quarters in a measure. Blue line, this blue box, is the bar lines. So it's showing you these bar lines. And a bar line divides the staff into measures, and a measure is the distance between 2 bar lines. So the distance between the 2 bar lines is 1 measure. In this case, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 measures. Okay, and the end of the piece or a section is called a double bar line. On the bottom half of the page, we have the musical alphabet, and the musical alphabet just uses the letters A through G. That's the only letters we use. And they're just repeated over and over again. And they use these on a line space order. So if you look down here, you'll see an A is this note here. And that's always going to be an A right there. And then we just go in order in alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then we repeat. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then we repeat again. A, B, C, and so forth. Okay? So it just goes A through G and repeats. And if you remember that, and remember that this treble clef is circling this line, and that's a G. It's always going to be a G. Then you can just go alphabetically. There's that G here and here, right? And then if you know that that's the G, you know that that's A because it goes A through G and repeats. Or if you go backwards down the alphabet, G, F, E, D, C, and so forth. Okay? So that's kind of the way I think is the best way to remember the names of the notes. Sometimes in music we teach the spells face in the space, so that's F-A-C-E in the spaces, face in the space. Or E, G, B, D, F, every good boy deserves fudge, or every good boy does fine. Or Elvis's guitar broke down Friday, or whatever else you might know it as. Lots of different ways. And those are all fine too. I just find that if you do that, then what happens when the note goes past the staff or below the staff? Well, you don't know, and that's what gets us to these ledger lines. We actually can extend the staff farther using these extra lines. This note, this A, has 2 ledger lines. It's extended down so that the staff actually here has 7 lines because of the 5 staff lines and then the 2 ledger lines. But we only use the ledger lines on the notes where they need it. We don't need ledger lines on these notes. So make sure you review page 5 several times. As we go forward in the book, we're going to refer to some of those things, and it's really important you know what all those things mean and how that applies to music as we keep going. It helps us to speak musically in class so that you can say, hey, Mr. Garner, I don't know how to play this G in measure 6. Well, then I can find it on my book and help you. But if you just said, I don't know how to play this note, I'll be like, what note? And we won't know. We won't be speaking musically to each other. So make sure you understand those concepts. Review them in this video or also on page 5, and make sure you're following along. Join me next time for part 6, and we'll talk some more about how to play the tenor saxophone.